Left to Bang show where we talk about the sneakier side of security. There's so much information flying on around our heads at any given moment when it comes to situational awareness or behavior analysis. We can pick this stuff out. We can kind of understand and translate this hidden language that's happening all around us. This show is sponsored by the Safe Instructor Program. If you want more information on the Safe Instructor Program, where we deliver these skills out into our communities, churches, synagogues, go ahead and type SAFE in the comments section. One of us will reach out and we'll talk to you. But without further ado, like I said, another Left to Bang episode. And this week's topic, we're going to kind of focus on hotel staff. And it's not just going to be hotel staff. I picked them just because they're kind of an easier target. This is going to be a situation where anytime you have a facility, a workplace, an organization that has frontline staff, people that the public talk to before they get into your facility, this is going to apply. But we're going to use the example of a hotel because there's so many things you can look at when you have someone incoming a hotel, depending on a threat, depending on what you can do. You have to think about a hotel as a customer service experience. You can't walk into a prison system where you get wanded and searched and whatnot, even though some people want to do that. So let's try to develop some left of bang sneakier ways to observe for some of these behavioral indicators of someone coming into a hotel or facility that could maybe have some type of nefarious intent. We have examples of the Las Vegas massacre. We have criminal incidents, human trafficking, prostitution, all sorts of bad things that happen in hotels. So let's try to put some things in place that we can look for. We have all this technology, cameras, facial recognition and algorithms and this and that and the other thing, but we often forget about the human component. We have us people all over the place and we forget that a lot of times. So we're going to deep dive into some of those hotel behavior analysis tactics. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick. And we're going to start it off with just a map of a hotel. This is kind of a generic hotel. I literally got this off of Google. This is no one specific, but I wanted to look at it and frame the concept of how we take care of a facility. You have to think of your facility, let's say this hotel right here, and think about like bubbles of safety, proximic zones of safety. All right. So you have your most prized possession, whether it be information or the hotel guests or whatever it is, right there in kind of the middle of your facility. Then as we go outward, we have, different tiers. What I want to do is try to look at a map of any hotel. And like I said, this is random. Can we enhance those spheres of those bubbles of security as customers, as clients are coming through that hotel engaging services? All right. 99% of the population is not going to be some crazy active shooter, terrorist type person. But on the off chance there is a person, we need some type of indicator, some type of behaviors or tactics to look for them. So just looking at this hotel where we have the front lobby right there in the middle, that's your first contact of the public. That's your front line. That's the first time they've come in your facility. So there's no real security measures in at this point besides maybe passive security, passive camera watching them. But your first contact in this big hotel, this casino example we see here, what is the number one first contact you're going to have? Everybody probably realizes it. It's the valet. When you pull up and you get out of the car, the valet is going to be the first person to interact with that client, right? And if I had all the time in the world to just sit here and teach hotel valet people, I'd tell you this, there's some indicators that we definitely want to look for, all right? Here's our staff out there doing their thing. And when I talk about looking for something, I'm not getting investigative here. I'm not telling you your valets or hotel staff has to turn into Sherlock Holmes and start conducting a criminal investigation. We're not going there. I'm just looking for overt signals of some type of threat or danger that we can look at and go, hey, wait a minute, I think we might have something here. So let me give you an example of a non-kinetic threat that your valet staff, your frontline staff might look at, all right? So valet, who are we dealing with? People coming up into the circle in vehicles, right? So to make sure my valet staff and anybody out there stays safe, including clientels, what am I looking for? Not necessarily an active shooter or some type of, drive-by. I'm looking for inebriation. I'm looking for inebriation and impairment, okay? Because they're driving around the middle of that thing. They're driving towards me. And that's something I'd like to know. Understanding inebriated people go to hotels all the time. And if I had valet staff on here, it'd be like, dude, every other person who shows up, is inebriated or some type of intoxication. Understand that. You're not going to pull these people out of line, but I'm just showing you different ways to look for observable indicators. Maybe you're the valet or you're that staff and you see a client who's walking towards your car, they hand you the valet ticket and they're, 3 sheets to the wind. If they hand you your valet ticket and they get in the car and they plop down like this, you might want to maybe say something to somebody, maybe just a comment somewhere, okay? And think of it in a purpose of like a hotel. They don't want to mess up the experience and give a customer a DUI. But hey, if that customer was sitting at the hotel bar drinking all day, who was feeding him the alcohol? And then he gets in his car and he goes and wraps around a school bus or something horrible. Who is liable for that? Okay, and not just from a liability perspective. Think if you were that valet and you saw someone get in a car and like, man, that person looks just schlitzed. They're just three sheets, and they get in the car and they slam. You don't want to live with that stuff. So with a valet staff, I want to look for inebriation, some type of um, overt sweating, excessive sweating, especially if it's not that time of the year. You've ever seen cops do gaze and nystagmus tests? Okay, what they're looking for when they take that pen is they're looking for your eyeball to click. Okay, your eyeball should move smoothly inside your head. If it starts clicking around like that, there's some type of narcotic or some type of depressant happening in there, right? And again, not telling valet people to be like, "Oh, sir, can you follow this pen right here?" I'm just giving you a bunch of visual indicators to look for inebriation or some type of impairment, erratic movement, erratic speech, anything that doesn't fit the baseline to key them up. Okay. And again, we're building zones here. We've only built our first layer right here, being the valet. That's a first touch. There's more to this. It's not just one touch, right? We're gathering information about the client. Again, one, you want them to have a good time, welcome aboard, everything smiles, but also you need to protect yourself and your staff and the people around you. So with valet, I want to look for that, right? After the valet, after we give them the ticket, they take the car around and they go park. They take the car around at like 90 miles an hour and they go park in there. Well, who do we talk to next? That's a concierge, right? The front desk. Now we start talking with them. They're the second time we've interacted with this hotel. Again, big smiles are making sure everything's going good with you and you're checking in. But do we have a portion here? If you're that concierge, if you're that front desk, do we have a time here to ask some questions? Very simple, non-invasive questions. Hey, how you doing? How long you here for? What are you doing while you're here? What are you guys here for? Business or pleasure? Can we glean information from little questions like that? Absolutely, you can glean information. There's good stuff there. And again, it's not a law enforcement thing. You guys are be like, tell me where you live, tell me where you came from. You can't do any of that stuff. But again, this is more of just passive collecting for a hotel staff. We're just trying to build a picture. Okay. Now I think you're starting to see what I'm doing with the rings here, because now if we've trained up our valet to look for any signs of inebriation, baseline anomalies like that, and he gets a weird feeling, they get a weird feeling, and then they go to the front desk, the concierge asks him some questions, we get some weird feelings too. Maybe the two meet up. You're like, hey, did you pull up that person's car? Yeah, I did. Hey, anything there? Yeah, you know what? He kind of came out stumbly. He did that. He did this. It's like, yeah, a concierge can be like, yeah, I had a weird feeling too. I got a weird vibe off him. Again, are we doing anything yet? Are we calling the SWAT team? No. This is just individual awareness at first, but now as we build these rings around an area, these rings of awareness, now we can bounce ideas off of each other. Now we can talk to each other. And if you talk to someone, if you got a bad feeling about someone and you want to bounce it off someone, don't walk up and be like, hey, I got a bad feeling about that person. What do you think? Hmm? Why is that not a good way to open that conversation? Because you've already biased the person's opinion. You've already injected your own opinion. I think this person's bad. What do you think? Oh, yeah. You're my buddy. Yeah, I believe it too. So instead of that, instead of asking, hey, I got a bad feeling, maybe go, hey, what's your take on that person? What's your vibe on that person? Don't inject any of your thoughts in there. Let them tell you. Now, if they come back and they go, man, I don't know, I got a really weird vibe about that person. Now we have something in the intelligence circles called dual source reporting, right? The intelligence communities all get information all the time. People walk up and drop information off. And, you can't keep track of all information all the time on all these outlets. But something you want to pay attention to is if you get two different sources from two different locations saying the same thing, dual source reporting, hey, somebody better start paying attention. And now you can start bouncing these things off them. When you're the concierge and you're talking to someone, I like to focus on kinesics and nonverbals. All right. What are they saying to me? And do the nonverbals match what they're saying to me? Or does it jive with what they're saying to me? Okay. If they're showing up with vacation and having a good time and then they got all these plans, but they're, morose and sad, are they pissed off from the road trip? Are they pissed off from their kids? Or are they doing something with their head? Or they got something on their mind? I don't know yet. So we look for those no fit behaviors, pacifying behavior, any type of ticky motion. Yeah, we're here for vacation, man. I can't wait. I'm having a good old time at this hotel. All signs of discomfort while I'm saying, yeah, I'm having a good time. And again, we have to put this in context and relevance of a hotel. This isn't like a TSA checkpoint on a border somewhere. This is just passive gathering information just so we can get a vibe of the people coming into our facility. These people come in to stay and sleep there. They'll be hanging out in your facility. So I'd like to get a quick vibe off of them. And through kinesics and asking these questions and watching nonverbals, they can really help you out. I'll talk about this one more thing before I show you the case study. So now we've had the concierge, we have a little bit of rapport building, a little talking. Now, who do we move on to? Okay, maybe you want a drink while we're waiting for the room, we're waiting for the bags. Maybe people get off the road, they want to go get a drink, and now you have a drink, and now you're talking to the bartender. All right, y'all tell me, people out there in the hotel industry, do you talk to bartenders? Do bartenders let loose information? Yeah, we have a drink, we sit down, we get comfortable, we build rapport, we ask some questions. So again, we're not doing some type of invasive investigation here. We're just getting a cut of everybody's jib. What we're doing is we're establishing a baseline on the clientele coming in here, not looking for a certain threat unless something shows it to us. But we have all these levels of humans, of people we can talk to and glean more and more information. With this hotel staff and the front line staff kind of concept, you got to think everyone's a collector. Everyone is collecting information on the safety and security of us, our clients in those facilities. That might look different in different scenarios and different zones, depending on what your job is, but everybody's got to have some type of part in that. All right. So let me just open this up real quick. I want to see if I got any comments on here in my chat. Good morning. Hello. Okay. Yes, this is 3 ways to increase hotel staff situational awareness. For my commenters in here, do me a favor if you want to put your name or whatever. It's not showing up as your name. It's just showing up as Facebook user, as LinkedIn user, or YouTube. So if I don't say hello to you by name, I'm not trying to offend anybody. All right. So now that we talked to about the concierge and the bartender staff, let's get a little bit deeper down this rabbit hole. Right. Housekeeping. Okay. Anybody seen that one before? My boy Tommy Boy trying to get some housekeeping. Housekeeping has active access to clientele rooms. They're going there every day to clean them. Ever since active shooters really started happening, and especially since the Vegas thing happened, there's been a lot of plans and policies put into place by organizations that are very good. Like back in the day, you could throw that door knocker on there, or I'm sorry, your little sign on your thing that says "Do not disturb," and you could be up in your room for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and no one was going to disturb you. Okay, and this was last year. I think I went to Vegas somewhere. I can't remember, but I believe it was Vegas. And they started calling me. It was like every 24 hours they'd call your room, and they're just like, "Hey, checking on you. You put a do not disturb out there in the room. Housekeeping tried to get in, and so we're just doing a check." And I started talking to them. They're like, "Yeah, honestly, it's our new policy. It's a welfare check. If we haven't seen you in 24 hours, we start calling. If you don't pick up, we knock on the door." So it's like, okay, those are good policies there. Housekeeping being in there, and this I want to talk specifically about the Stephen Paddock, the Las Vegas shooter. Think about the housekeeping and what they're there to do. Again, I'm not telling anybody to get investigative. I'm not telling anybody to get in there and start searching people's thing. But in law enforcement, there's a concept of officer safety. It's a policy. Let's say we all understand constitutional rights. A cop just can't jump out on you and search you for no reason. They have to establish criminal intent, some type of PC or whatever, or they can have a fear of officer safety. They can have a fear that I believe you might have a weapon system or something that's going to hurt me. And it's a credible fear. And I'm going to do an officer safety check. Okay. An officer safety check is not a search per se. I mean, it is a search. You're looking for weapons, overt weapons, but it's not like a pat down search. I'm not sitting here squeezing pockets and going through and going over everything. Well, what's allowed in the law anyway. I don't know what people are actually doing, but what's allowed in the law is a reasonable search to look for a weapon system, a knife, a gun, a bomb, a bazooka, whatever it is, and once I'm okay with that, it's like, okay, that wasn't a search. That was just for me. Why don't housekeeping staff do this? And again, not telling anybody to go hands on and be Sherlock Holmes about stuff, but housekeeping staff are around things. Think of Stephen Paddock. Let me bring up where's that picture? Okay, look at this. Look at this room. This is Stephen Paddock's room after the shooting. Okay, see if I can change views to a better view. Y'all see those guns right there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is just in one room. 7 guns in view. 7 long rifles in view. If you didn't know, these are big, fat 70-round mags. Those aren't, cheap, and they're not light. Those weapon systems are 12, 13, 14 pounds a piece. That ammo is a bunch of ammo. All that that's a lot of weight. That's a ton of weight. Okay. I mean, look at this is just standing next to his bags. And again, I'm not dogging housekeeping like, oh, why don't you search his bags? Another factor here is, hey, do people bring guns into Vegas? Yeah, they do. Okay. People would see this and go, oh my God, how did you not see this? This is completely crazy. Well, it's Vegas. Does Vegas have shooting competitions? Is Nevada Second Amendment friendly? Yes, absolutely. They got mini guns in ranges. You can get in a car and do like a racetrack and a F1 series with a minigun on top, all sorts of crazy stuff. So maybe just the presence of guns is not going to be overtly, but the mass amount of the same type of weaponry, who knows? All I'm saying here is maybe we could have seen something. Maybe we could have picked up on something. All right. One picture I'm going to show you and where I'm going with this. Look at this guy. All right. I used to be this guy many moons ago. That's why I have no cartilage left in the bottom of my knees and feet and under my hips. Okay. This is not a joke. This is not like people looking at they just threw everything on him as a joke. No, this is a combat load. I think this is in Afghanistan or Iraq, can't tell, but that's a mortar based plate. This kid's probably got 130, 140 pounds of crap on him. Okay, that pack is full to the brim. Okay, and there's certain things, if you've ever put a pack on like this, if you've ever had to carry something like this for any amount of distance, there are certain things a heavy pack does besides a light pack. Okay. And if you've never carried that kind of weight, 90% of your body weight or something, you're not going to know some of this stuff. So we I have my bag. All right, and I got my bag. I don't have this loaded up with anything. This is a nice kind of tactical bag. But let's say going back to that picture there. Okay, let's say what seven rifles here. I don't know. Maybe if I broke down three rifles, probably three rifles I could fit in here, and a couple magazines maybe with some ammo in them. I'd load them with ammo. So I don't know. Three rifles broken down with three magazines. Okay, is this a light pack or a heavy pack? Probably going to lean towards heavier, especially if you start really loading that thing up. It does certain things like this. My Marines, my infantrymen, y'all remember this one. When you go to pick it up by the shoulder straps, does it creak? Does it go, does it make like weird, creepy sounds? That's a sign of a really heavy pack because it's all right there. Are there bulges? Are there metal bulges sticking out? Right weapon systems, they're pokey. They've been jabbed in my side for tons of times, so they tend to stick out. And again, not Sherlock Holmes. I'm just throwing out ideas here. In Afghanistan and Iraq, they teach you if you were a service member, a male service member, and for some reason you had to search a female, and which rarely ever happened. I'd never seen it happen. There is the first step is you'd find another female service member. If you can't have that, you'd have another female. There was all this tiered stuff. The last one was absolutely positively, if you have to go hands on with a female and you're a male, like it better be dire. Like there better be a lot of stuff going on. But they would teach us this. It's a non-invasive search. So normally searches, we're doing this, we're scrunching things up. But a non-invasive search is where you go to the back of the hand. So we're not touching anybody or anything, and we're just swiping. Okay, we're just doing little swipes like this. You've probably seen TSA agents do this stuff before. Okay, am I sitting here grabbing? I'm like, oh, that's a barrel of an AR-15. Like most housekeeping probably even really know what that would be. All we're trying to do here is establish some type of heavy pack. It's like, man, housekeeping picked this thing up and moved it and went, and it's all pokey and it's super heavy, like way heavier than normal. Maybe it's about to fall apart. Just do a non-invasive thing like that. Like, yeah, that thing's heavy and it's got metal. All right. Do I run to the SWAT team with that information? Do I rappel into that room and take the guy out? No, I'm just throwing out ideas here. Non-invasive. We're not searching anything because now at this point you've had, let's say hypothetically that nefarious individual who came through and he has some type of Stephen Paddock or some type of plan. We've had first exposure with Valet. We've had a second exposure with a concierge. Maybe we got an exposure with a bartender. Maybe we got an exposure with a housekeeping and bellhop. I even forgot about the bellhop. So actually, the bellhop, the person taking your bags, this all applies to them too. We've built layers here. Okay, now it's just not one bad feeling from one person. Now we can kind of talk to each other and go, hey, if the concierge talked to the valet and be like, that person was weird. There's some weird baseline things happening. Hey, let's go talk to housekeeping. Yeah, he's got a large bag in there. Appears to be metal in there. It's super heavy, abnormally heavy. Do we have enough information now? Do we take the SWAT team and kick the door in now? No, we have enough information to make a contact, to talk to someone, at least come up with some type of plan that we can think about, right? when you're thinking about not only the nonverbals, kinesics, and all the different things we talk about in my Safe Instructor and the Safe Observer program. So, for those of you new here, in my Safe Observer program, that's our basic program where I break down kinesics, nonverbals. I bash your head in with all these. If you want more information on these specific domains, go ahead and type in SAFE in the comments section. My team will reach out to you. We'll hit you with that Observer course, and I believe it's on sale this week. Yeah, it's on sale. We'll bash your head in with all these observables. But again, it's about building context and relevance. You don't just take one visual indicator and jump on someone. When it comes to the concierge and the bartender, right? Again, this kind of comes from law enforcement, but in law enforcement, or I guess I should say in the legal system in America, we have something called an utterance, a spontaneous utterance. And what that is I'll give you an example I heard one time. It was a cop in New York. There's a song out there. I can't remember. It's an old song about, hey, if I only had a hammer, I'd do something with it. And that's like the chorus. If I only had a hammer. Okay. So they pick up a guy who's suspected murder. They suspected murder, and what was the murder weapon? A hammer. Okay, that information hadn't been released to the public. They didn't know the murder weapon, no nothing, but they had this guy as a suspect. So they grab him and they threw him in the back of the car. They're like, "Hey, you're under arrest for murder." And he doesn't say a thing back there. He's just like, whatever, doesn't say a thing. And they get in the car and they're driving away. The cop's messing around a little bit and he starts singing the song. And he's like, if I only had a hammer, if I only started singing this chorus. And this guy's visibly getting agitated in the back. He starts sweating, starts shaking a little bit. And finally, this guy just unprompted just yells out, "Man, I didn't kill nobody with no hammer. I didn't kill nobody with no hammer." And it's like, stop the car. What'd you say, bro? What'd you say about the hammer? I didn't tell you anything about a hammer, my friend. That's a spontaneous utterance. Okay. I didn't prompt you. I didn't ask you a question, but you're going to throw that out there. I'm going to write that bad boy down. Okay. So if you're talking to people in the bartending and concierge, okay, again, not a law enforcement investigation, but you want to pay attention to phrases. You want to pay attention to phrases, especially if these people are going through and you're getting kind of weird vibes off people. I want you to pay attention to certain phrases, especially maybe if you're the bartender and they got a couple drinks in them, they start letting things go and you start asking, "Hey, what are your plans here?" "Oh man, I got big plans, bro." "Yeah, what are they?" "I can't share you, but you're going to find out. You're going to know about my plans, man." Or things like, "Oh, you're going to see it on the news, bro. You're going to see it." Any mention, anytime anyone says some crap like that, like, "Oh, you're going to see me. You're going to see me on the news." It's like that should be the biggest red flag. Okay. How do you get on the news? He's not going on Americans Got Talent, right? That's probably not what they're talking about. So that's my whole thing with spontaneous utterances. Listen to those weird things. You're going to see me on TV. They're going to regret what they did. We're going to go regret every fire in me. These are final statements. And okay. And if you're getting these weird, violent statements or semi-violent statements and they're smiling and they're happy about it and they're laughing, okay. This is another thing we cover in our Safe Observer course is deception when people are lying to you, how to tell if people are lying to you and what to do about it. And the whole concept there is a no fit. I've mentioned it before. If my words are saying one thing, but my nonverbals are giving you something else, I want to pay attention to the nonverbals. So if I'm talking about some bad stuff like getting seen on the news, "Oh man, they're going to regret getting rid of me," but I'm smiling and laughing and giggling about it, that's a big, serious no fit. Okay. If I'm talking about violent or potentially threatening things and I'm smiling, that means I'm attaching a good feeling to that threat. That's not a good thing. So spontaneous utterances are a thing, and listen to people. Words have meanings. Words have meanings. Okay, but a lot of times when we hear a comment like that, we'll say, that was a strange comment. I didn't understand that comment," and we'll go about our business. Okay. I'm not sitting here telling you like, "Hey, if you go through my training, if you take our Safe Observer course, you're going to be able to like catch Stephen Paddocks with the housekeepers, repelling and doing all this crazy stuff." I'm just throwing out ideas. We throw so much time and money and effort into all these security things, all these security technologies we have, and the facial recognition and the background checks and the searching and the bonds and this, that, and the other thing. But we continually forget about the human factor. Okay. You want to hear a funny story? In the United States government, when it comes to security clearances, and we've all heard of getting a top secret and getting a above top secret. There's clearances even above top secret, and all this stuff. Why do we do those? Why do we get top secret clearances? To make sure you're a trustful person, that you're not going to leak the treasures and secrets of the American government. You're going to be entrusted with this stuff. So we make you fill out pages and pages and SF-86 forms, and we want to know about your kids and your grandkids, your future kids. They ain't even born yet. I want their names, And we go through all this stuff, all right? You got to do that. You got to make sure people are trustworthy. Guess what? What group of people where the number one security intelligence leaking threat comes from in the United States government? It's not the uncleared people. All of our leaks come from cleared people. Look, Google it. Look at all the Ames, the Amoses, the people we've busted before for serious high level espionage. Every one of them had the highest clearance in the world. Okay, and there were even some other indicators. I could talk about those all day. But we had a piece of paper that said, "Nope, this person has a clearance," and then we forgot about it and never looked at that person again. Same thing with this stuff. All right, am I saying we're going to save the day, take people out like ninjas or whatever? If I can get up here and talk about one kinesic, one biometric, one indicator that can cause someone to stand up and go, "Wait a minute, this doesn't fit. This doesn't feel good. I'm going to raise my hand and I'm going to say something." Okay, it's not necessarily about going out there and being John Rambo and saving the day and physically stopping the stuff. Oftentimes, all we need is a piece of that thread. Okay, what happens when you pull on a thread long enough? Things start to fall apart, and bad crap like this doesn't happen. And all it can take is one observation, one stupid little behavior, one little indicator, one little tick of the face to key you off on something nefarious happening with your facility, with your hotel, and the loved one or the people around you. All right. So I'm gonna go over to my comment section, see if we got any comment section over here. Good thing. I was a little bit confused. Okay, sorry. All right, good. Good places. Someone scoping out. Someone looking at entrances. So good one. We have one of our guys again. Sorry, I can't see your names on there. What would be a potentially good place someone could be observed scoping the entrance? Well, honestly, that's going to depend on your facility. So you know what? Hey, let me see if I can share. What? Hold on. Go back to that. Nope, go back to sharing. We're gonna look at the map that I just had up here. Well, that's not it. Just bear with me. Okay. Let's just take a look at this one right here. So in this situation, it'd be the main entrance, where we have the water. Well, actually, so we'll get a little bit deeper here. Obviously, the main entrance, that's when you want to start establishing baselines. That's what we're doing here, everybody. We're establishing baselines. Hey, Sean on YouTube, what's up, brother? Thank you. I see your name. So we're establishing baselines and zones. So obviously the first area you'd want to establish these baselines would be the entrance. That's someone coming in to the facility and develop some type of idea for them. And honestly, you're just going to maintain observation. Like for this example right here, we have another hotel lobby here. We have the main casino floor. So those are two, but we have the water park back there. Am I going to want to have people watching people in the water park establishing baselines? Yeah, probably. Okay. Especially if you have kids out there. So it's not just about one point, it's multiple points there. So I hope that answers your question. Going into it too, when you look at casinos, they're really good about this, man. Casinos got it going on, man. They're always dealing with something. They're very good about establishing baselines very quickly, and they look for anomalous stuff. So those eyes in the sky, man, those guys are really good. And what do we do when we potentially, identify something like this? I just want to do a quick case study real quick of this guy right here. All right, what's the potential upside here? Again, we're talking about hotels, we're talking about sneaky security stuff, and again, we're not getting into law enforcement, we're not being John Rambo, but who's this guy right here? Who's this guy right here? Y'all probably remember this guy. If you don't, this guy's name is Richard Reed. He was the shoe bomber or attempted shoe bomber. And Richard Reed go on to get on a plane and he stuffed a shoe full of explosives and he was going to blow it up. Okay. Here's what happened. Before he even got on the plane with a bomb on his shoes, there was a certain, I'll keep it nameless, intelligence service that caught this guy red-handed at the air, not red-handed actually, caught him at the airport. And in the airport, people ask you certain questions depending on which country you're flying into. Some are really good at it, some are really bad at it. Okay. The people that were talking to this guy were really good at it. At this point, he comes up to the gate. He didn't even have a bomb yet. He picked up the bomb in France in another leg of the journey. He didn't even have the bomb yet. He walks up, and these people are trained very well in how to ask certain questions with a big smile, with a big customer service smile on their face. And they ask him, like, hey, what are you doing when you get to this location, this other country? Oh, I got a job. I'm in IT. Okay. What's one thing you'd think you'd bring with you on an international IT job? Maybe a computer? I don't know. And he didn't have a computer with him. It's like, okay, that's odd. All right, where are you staying when you get there? This hotel, or a hotel. Which hotel? I haven't picked one yet. Okay. How you getting from the airport to the hotel? Oh, my friend Avi is picking me up. Avi, okay. What's Avi's last name? I don't know. Okay. What's Avi's phone number? I don't know. Okay. Do we have enough? It's like Jeff Foxworthy out here. Like, there's your sign. That was a real transcript. That's what we were saying. Do we have enough here? Yeah, we got enough here. And they did. They pulled him out. They said this guy, like, they searched him. They did everything. They're like, this guy is not flying on airlines. We have no incriminating evidence on him, but based off these questions and this, and we don't like him. He's a bad, and you should not let him fly anywhere else. France has different constitutions in this country, and they're like, oh, we okay, and they took him anyway. They let him fly. They couldn't legally bar him from flying if they didn't have edits. But those other people were like, nope, he's not coming on. So he gets on that leg. He actually picks up the bomb in France, I believe. I think he lands in France. He meets with the courier. He wants to get comfy in the shoes. So what does he do? He puts the shoes on. He starts walking around in France the night before the thing. Well, it just rained. And if you know about his bomb, he had a cannon fuse that he was going to light on fire. They got a little damp. Homeboy gets into the airplane. He pulls his shoe off and he starts trying to light it with a lighter. That's a little bit of an anomaly. And a Dutch guy sitting next to him is like, that's strange. And he proceeds to like waffle stomp this dude into the airplane, just beat the crap out of him. And other people joined in too. I don't know if you've all seen the old movie Airplane, where that scene where everyone's lined up with like monkey bar wrenches and chains. They're just beating on this dude. So, that could have gone real wrong. That could have gone real wrong. They had this guy dead to rights, but they didn't have any real evidence. But just based off his mannerisms, his no fit, his answers to his questions, they said, you know what? I don't have enough to incriminate you, but I got enough to get you out of my facility, away from my people. So I wanted to end with that, to add that on there because it's an interesting case study. Again, am I saying we're John Rambo out here in the hotel section? Who knows? I don't know. All right. It was kind of light on questions today, kind of light on comments, but it's been fun. Sean, thanks for coming out here. My YouTube people coming in here and my LinkedIn. Again, if you're enjoying the program, we're doing the Left of Bang show every other Thursday, the same time, same bat place, where we talk about the sneakier side of security. This show is sponsored by the Safe Instructor program. The Safe Instructor program teaches people specific behavioral domains in our communities to disrupt violence like we saw today. So go ahead and put safe in the comment section if you want any more information. My team will reach out to you. If you want our basic training program, which is a Safe Observer program, it's about 3.5 hours of this good, sexy, behavioral analysis, situational awareness. Go ahead and put Observer in the comments section. We'll reach out and we'll send you a link to that one. But if I don't have any more questions or comments, y'all have been fantastic. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you same bat time, same bat channel next week. My safe instructors that are here right now, give me about 30 minutes. I'll jump over there to the private safe instructor group today. Today, we were talking about get your business out there quickly and very hard by building omnipresence. All right. Most of you, I see you posting out there on LinkedIn and whatnot. You're doing great. Keep it up. But I'm going to teach you to work a little smarter, not harder, when it comes to posting and have that omnipresent feeling in your communities when you give this stuff up. All right. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Good times until not next week, but the week after that. Stay safe out there.